Hi everybody, I am Alison Rentoul, the CEO and founder of Aquamarine Home, and I'm here today with the lovely Renske Carbone, who is Dutch and has a fabulous name, which I'm probably not saying very well at all. So the lovely Renske, I actually met last year at a trade fair in Melbourne, and she was producing these absolutely gorgeous felt toys and beautiful things that were being handmade by a Fairtrade collective in Nepal, and I just couldn't resist them. And even though Aquamarine Home is mainly a homewares company, I just couldn't walk away without buying some of those products. So that's how we connected. And I just thought it'd be really interesting to have a chat with Renske about how she set up the business and why she set up the business and what it is that she's trying to achieve with it. So Renske, why don't you just tell us a little bit about what prompted you to start Colours of Australia, and how did that come about?
Okay, thanks, Alison. Well, basically, I've got an artistic background. I studied at Curtin University in West Australia. And when I finished that in '91, I thought, okay, now what? Because, it's nice to be creative, but it's even nicer to be able to pay the bills. So that's when I started Colours of Australia. And my first product was hand-painted scarves out of the back shed, so to speak. And the business really grew from there. So that was back in '91. I really started the business.
Okay. And so how did you end up coming from Holland to Australia as well?
Well, I was a little bit wild I left home at a really young age, actually at 15, and I just was looking for adventure. So I dragged my then boyfriend to the altar, said, let's get married and go to Australia. So when I was 19, I came to Australia and never looked back from there, really.
Oh, fantastic. So he's Australian, is he?
Well, we've since divorced. We were married for I don't know 6 years or something, and we've both gone each other out different ways. Still friends, so that's all good. But then I met John, who's Italian, and we got married fairly quickly after that. So I've been with John for the last 31 years,
so
to be exact.
Carbone. So Renske, how did you end up incorporating the whole kind of Nepalese fair trade element into Colours of Australia, and when did you start doing that?
Okay, so by '97 I discovered trade fairs and I was exhibiting, and we actually started becoming a bit more well known. And then I was approached by a lady from China who was living in Australia, and she said, oh, why don't you do all this stuff in Australia? Sorry, in China. Right. And I said, well, I've never been to China. So we went to China and we worked there for a number of years. We set up a factory. It's very hard working there because you don't speak the language, and we really got done really, like we're pretty naive and didn't know much. So by 2005, I decided I'd had enough of China, and I was looking around to see where I could go next, and I had some ideas for product. And I was exhibiting in Europe at the time at the Ambiente Fair and the Tendence, which are big gift fairs in Europe, in Germany. And I thought, well, I'm being a bit thick here because there's lots of people from different countries here. So I went around and I found a company in Nepal that I wanted to work with. We were doing bags at the time. So this is 2006, basically.
Yeah.
And that's how I actually ended up going to Nepal that same year. I wanted to make sure that people were, doing the right thing. There's no child labor and, just stuff like that. I just need to mention that after China, I actually had 2 years where I was looking around to see what I was doing next while still conducting our business. But I ended up in Bangladesh and I worked there for 2 years, and that was really what put me on to fair trade, actually, because I was working with a beautiful little company there making leather bags, and unfortunately the quality wasn't quite there, and didn't really work out. But that was a fair trade company, and it was really the first time that I'd had anything to do with fair trade people, and I really liked the idea, and it really excited me to be able to contribute in a positive way to other people through business. So that's really what sparked it off. And then when I went to Nepal, the company that I work with there, they are also fair trade, and it just continues our journey in that direction.
So did you set out to find a fair trade organisation in Nepal to work with, or did it just happen that it was lucky that you found one?
Yeah, at the time, well, when I actually went to Nepal the first time, there was no fair trade there, no registered US fair trade. I mean, there's a bit of a difference between people calling themselves fair trade and people being fair trade.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm learning that.
Yeah, so I'm Dutch. I take everything with a healthy dosage of skepticism, I guess. So the company I started with is a family business, and it's a story for another time. But it's a really beautiful company, and they were for many years they were working on getting to be registered fair trade. I don't know if anybody's been involved with that process. It's a huge process. This is a US fair trade registration, and the kind of things you wouldn't have any idea about what it takes for a third world country to become registered fair trade. So they in effect became the first fair trade company, in Nepal. So what they weren't fair trade at the time, but they were making the product I wanted to make. And they've been registered fair trade now for the last, I don't know exactly, maybe 8 years or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. So you must have been one of the first people then to be bringing those products into Australia.
Not felt. I mean, there's lots of other people that bring felt in. I mean, there's a lot of there's Nepalese businesses also bringing in felt. The whole fair trade thing is quite interesting because, as I said, there's a lot of skullduggery going on. Really, people calling themselves fair trade, and there's really in Nepal still there's only a handful of fair trade craft product producers, and the people that I work with. As I said, fair trade to be certified fair trade actually takes a continuous effort of you get checked every year, and certain things. It's got to do with how many toilets have you got, how do the doors open in the workrooms, is there light, there's lots of things that people don't really realize about it. So that sorry, I actually forgot what you asked. Sorry.
I was saying you might have been one of the first people to bring
that. Right. I probably was in terms of getting fair trade felt out of Nepal. Yes, I must say, in Australia, definitely. Yeah.
And you go to Nepal quite a lot, don't you? To go.
Yeah. Yeah, well, both my husband and I go. So we now work because we are exporting our product worldwide, really, to the US, to the UK, New Zealand, Canada. It's all over the place. And we found that shipping goods to Australia and then shipping them back out is like really stupid. Right. We also really wanting to look at our footprint and how can we do this smarter and with a bit of intelligence. So we kind of worked out that actually warehousing in Nepal was the answer to our dilemma. Okay. So our workshop is there. We've got staff there. We've got our warehouse there, and we go to Nepal really regularly. So John goes to deal with warehouse things, and I go to deal with design and things like that. So product development, that's what I do. So.
And you have so many gorgeous designs, like your felt toys. I just literally it was a showstopper for me when I was walking through the trade fair and I saw them. I was just like, oh my god. And yeah, so why don't you just tell everyone who's listening a little bit about how you came up with all of those designs, because a lot of them are your designs, aren't they? Are they all your designs?
Yeah, no, that's right. Well, after my adventures in China and Bangladesh, and like when you come up with original product, you get copied really quickly. So one of the things that we do now, because we focus a lot on early childhood toys, so educational toys, and that's been a learning process for me. I don't have children, and it was just sort of working out what do these customers actually want from me in terms of product. But I found I had to really spread the design range out as wide, and to make a really wide base of products. So when we started with the felt, we did jewelry, we did homewares, we did toys, we did decoration, Christmas, we did basically everything. And as the years went by, I just grew each sector of our product range, to stop people, not really to stop them from copying, because it's impossible really, but just to make it so hard for them to copy the whole range. So we have like well over 1,000 products. And so it's the ideas come from really from things that I see around me, and and also I think a lot about what is the play value of the product that we produce. And my customers, they are really the greatest source of inspiration, because they'll ask for things or make suggestions, and so that's really useful for me in terms of product development.
So tell everyone what are some of the ranges that you have, because like I can picture them all, but I know that they're probably sitting there going, but what are they?
Okay, so well, we've got probably about 13 sectors in our range. I won't go through all of them, but one of them would be, for instance, dolls. So we do dolls of all sizes, and our dolls actually stand up. We make wooden feet for them to have that point of difference. Food is a huge sector for us, so we do a whole range of, you name it, really, all the vegetables, all the fruit that you could think of. Probably not all of them, but quite close to it. Them in felt.
I absolutely love that collection, and I don't know which was my favorite, but I really loved the sandwich because it's so gorgeous. It's got these 2 slices of bread. Everything's made out of felt. 2 slices of bread, and then it's got, you can open it up, and it's got all the different sort of bits that go in it, like the ham and the cheese and the cucumber and whatever else, and you can make your sandwiches.
Yeah.
Sushi.
Well, we also do a pizza, which has got like loads of different toppings that kids can put on the pizza, and as you said, it's all made out of felt. Another popular range is actually our trees. We do a really nice range of different kind of trees, and some of them have wooden parts, and some of them are all felt. Hand puppets, finger puppets.
I love the fairy houses as well that you have.
Fairy houses, that's a good one. Yeah, they're very popular. I mean, it's not really my kind of thing, I have to say, but they're very popular with customers. So I'm forever trying to come up with new ideas that haven't been done before. It's always a big challenge, to make something that's original. So.
Yeah. And then last but not least is, of course, the range that we carry, which is your storybooks that come with a little felt toy, the main subject of the book. And and the stories are all written by you, and the books have been made by you. Did you illustrate them as well?
No, not that first range of 6 books, the ones you were talking about. That basically came about because a friend of mine told me a story about this little lamb that they rescued, and they brought it up, and they used to give it biscuits, and and I was thinking about the story, and I know there's a lot of farmers out in Australia and everywhere probably that deal with these kind of things. And I thought, how can you make that into an educational story? So then at the end of it, the lamb is shorn, and it's cold, so it needs a jacket. So then the farmer's wife, needs a woolly jacket. So that sort of closes the circle. And when I showed it to my customers, they said, listen, it's really great, we love it, but we can't sell one book, you got to do a series. So that's how the other 5 came. And the toy, like with the sheep, we've got the 2 most popular ones are Betsy the chicken, who doesn't know what it means to be a chicken until she lays her first egg. So our felt chicken actually lays an egg. And me Baba, the one we're talking about, the lamb, she actually, you can take off the coat, the furry coat, and put a little green jacket on her. So that was a fun range, actually, and was lots of fun to do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, no, they're absolutely gorgeous, and they've been very popular as well with our customers. And I just love the fact that you can take Baba's woolly coat off and then put her hand knitted jumper or his hand knitted jumper on afterwards. It's just adorable. Um,
Yeah.
so how do you know, or like, how do you measure the impact that you're making through the Fairtrade collective that you're working with? Like, is that something that you follow or look into?
Well, actually, over the years, it all becomes like normal, if you know what I mean, because you're dealing with it all the time. But in the beginning, there was something really sweet that happened after about the first, I don't know, 8 months or something. And um, Marswoord, the guy that I work with, he said to me, Renske, you need to realize that with the work that you give us, you've fed 300 families
Wow.
in the last, whatever, I think it was about 8 months. And I thought, what a fantastic way to really motivate me also, but to express how, something impacts on other people. It's the people that work for the Fairtrade company, they're just like everybody else. They just want to make a living, they want to have a good life. And of course, there's a lot of women in this field, doing the craft work. There's also men, by the way, but mainly women. And to know that, especially in a society like in Nepal, where the man still rules the roost, really, the women, they get some independence and they get a sense of value of what they contribute to their own family. And we have now grown beyond the 300 families, well and truly, and feeding them, I mean. And it's just a really heartwarming to know that, yes, I make money because I'm in business, and the company that makes my work makes money, but also the people that work there, they all benefit. So everybody really benefits, and that's a lovely way to work. Otherwise, it's just about dollars and cents, and it's not that interesting, actually. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that there is really room for us to, change the whole retail paradigm and to make it win-win. That's really just all it should be. It should be, everywhere along the chain, people should be benefiting
Absolutely.
from the transaction.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what we're all about as well, and that's what gets me excited about working with lovely people like yourself who who think that way too. So
Yeah.
so what's on the horizon for you guys? Have you got any new exciting developments that you want to tell us about, or are you just going to keep on doing what you're already doing, which is wonderful in
Well,
it?
yeah, we keep going with what we're doing, but we're also, I actually just had a meeting today. I've started working last year in Sri Lanka,
Yeah.
and I worked with a beautiful, really beautiful business, that's fair trade, doing some cotton products, so cotton dolls and things like that.
Oh wow.
And meeting this morning with another supplier who happened to be in Australia, about some other wood products, because we do a lot of wooden toys as well, and we combine it with the felt that we make. And I was really quite excited, because this is also a fair trade company, and we didn't set out to be completely fair trade, and we're not at the moment, because we still have suppliers that, like out of Indonesia, where they don't really recognize fair trade, and they're not really that organized in that sense.
Yeah.
Um, we are now dealing with a number of fair trade companies, and my customers are interested, and they support it, and it's all about, as you said yourself, it's about everybody in the chain actually benefiting from the work. So it's really exciting to add another fair trade supplier to our stable, and I can't see that changing in any way. Like, we'll just keep trying to find fair trade suppliers and people to work with, to offer beautiful products that that have some value, and a bit more than just press a button on a machine and it comes rolling out. So
Absolutely.
We don't do that. Most of our product is handmade. So, well, all of our product actually. So,
Yeah. Well, I think you're a wonderful example of the fact that you can build, a really thriving and successful business, but still be ethical and, and be contributing in a positive way to the world and the environment, because all of your products as well are made from sustainable materials too. And that's something else that we
yeah,
haven't really touched on much, but that you're also passionate about, I know. So fantastic, and long may it last, and let's hope that listening to this, people will be encouraged, if they haven't already, to look into more sort of fair trade collaborations and partnerships, and to work with people like yourself. If there are any shops out there that are watching this, that are interested in stocking any of Renskes' beautiful products, what's the web address that we should tell people to go to?
It's Colors of Australia, spelled the Australian way, COLOURS, and then of Australia.com. There's no A. And you just need to register and wait for me to change your registration to wholesale customer. We do absolutely no retail online, so we're really B2B, just business to business only. So
fantastic, and I'll make sure that I put that in the notes from today's episode as well on the blog, so people can click through and find you.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Renske. It's been absolutely wonderful chatting with you, and I feel really inspired and uplifted by hearing about all the wonderful good things that you've been doing. And yeah, as you said, what a beautiful way to know that you're impacting people's lives and literally helping to make the world a better place, just through doing a business, an ethical business with purpose and passion. So
Yes.
take care. Thank you very much, Renske. Wishing you all the very best, and I'm sure we'll speak to you again before too long.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Alison. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.